What does the vision hold for this money-minting project?
This is a people's industry. Eventually we're going to reduce most of the primary processes to the farmers. You know, our vision is that going forward, between 5 to 10 years, many of the farmers would be able to add value and give us the dried chips. Because if the farmers brought here dried chips, they actually get more money. Okay? They also have better bargaining power than they do when we take the matoke. And that's really why government invested, to ensure that the leverage of the farmers is improved. Principally, any farmer who is within a radius of 50 kilometers from us will not need to do this, because we'll be able to buy all the bananas. We are building capacity here to be able to buy all the bananas within that radius. So the farmer should be positioned beyond 50 kilometers from us to make it sensible, because we don't want to close this. We want to be able to continue to add value here and have the standard, especially for export. Most of the export flour has to be made here. And gradually, of course, the farmers also raise their capacity to be able to do that. But we don't want to interfere with the export volume. So these will be made here. And we are looking at building the capacity, productive capacity of the farmers, so that within the range of 50 kilometers from here, they will be able to produce sufficiently to power most of the export market. Now, for any farmer who is beyond that, first of all, you need to have a cooperative, because you will not be able to sustain a dryer as a single farmer. Even if you have 20, 40 acres, our cry to all of them, we tell them, please form a cooperative, outgrowers, so that when you put up this drying plant, it doesn't come a white elephant. You get it? The issue is that bananas have got peaks and low, and especially when you have the low, if you are just a single farmer, or if you had a problem, then we have a big problem sustaining the dryer. So we tell them, you need to have an aggregate of farmers so that you can produce at least half a ton of dry stuff every day. That is the benchmark. So we are working on models that we have a section of the business section which is going to go to farmers who identify themselves as potential places for planting, and develop a model for them and tell them, no, your productivity is low. We can do ABCD to power your productivity, or you bring in more farmers so that you can ensure that the productivity can get there. The good news I want to tell the farmers is that getting a dryer is like getting a lorry. A lorry today you take banana, another day you take potatoes, another day you take pumpkins with the same lorry. So a dryer is also like a lorry. Today it will dry bananas, the other day it will dry them when they are fruit, the other day it will dry mangoes. A dryer is multifaceted equipment. So getting it in your community also will give you the capacity to diversify your productivity. If you are the farmer, as I said, the best future, especially if you are very far, because if you are very far, you have very high benchmarks of transport. You know, so if that transport cost is what we want the farmer to translate into investment to get the dryers. So if you are transporting chips instead of bananas, for every 10 lorries, you bring me 1 lorry. You get it? So look at those savings.
Many farmers at this point are wondering, where is the market for all these products?
But we have a lot of markets waiting for this product. Why do we have markets? We have markets because banana flour, if it's produced competitively, can work very well as a substitute for wheat. So one of the challenges we have now, that's quite expensive, and that's why we are saying farmers should produce it, because when the farmers start producing the chips, they will be very affordable. You get it? So that we can easily pack it into the what? Into the bakery industry. So we have the bakery industry locally. When you put the banana flour in your bakery product, it is different. It's different. I showed you the crisps. The crisps is another line that we are looking at, because with some of the primary processing, you can also put there what? A crisps line. And the crisps also are very, very interesting. The market is very pregnant. I think that when we get enough crisps on the market, the potato people may have to wind up.
After all is said and done, what is then competitive advantage of selling your product to the processing plant? Dr. Florence emphasizes the importance of maintaining a consistent cash flow for all farmers who wish to grow in the business.
COVID has given us credibility more than ever before, because we have an undertaking with our farmers. We do a market survey almost every 2 weeks. Now we find that in the COVID time, while the prices elsewhere are going to the dogs, our farmer had a viable price. During this very bad period, when the bananas were almost going for free, our farmers never got a price below 7,000 per bunch, which is really quite encouraging. Yeah, on the high side, when the price goes very far, our cutoff normally is 15,000 per bunch, because beyond that the flour will become too expensive. So I think the leverage that they are cushioned in terms of the price ends.
Byandeza supplies to PIBID and has been trained on quality. This is what he recommends farmers consider when preparing to extract money from the bananas through value addition.
You have to ensure that you get the best bunch, a good bunch. When you are defingering, you are not supposed to hurt any of the fingers. Even if you are supplying the very mature ones, you are not supposed to put in the ripened bananas. Basically, that is it. And you have to put them in crates. You ensure that you don't put a heap, because the crates, when they are heaped together, they will spoil your bananas down there. And those ones that have been spoiled, you will not be paid. When they reach there, they sort. They get the best, and then the ones that have been damaged, they are sorted out and discarded.
Like all businesses, this too faces a couple of potential hiccups. Byandeza points out what to expect.
We are selling from the farm. We also get those who buy on loans. They don't pay you cash there and then. Yeah. But when you are selling to PIBID, like in the cooperative societies, you don't expect to get cash there and then. Because it's a process. You have to make a claim. A claim has to go some stages, from officer A to officer B, from officer B to officer C. So when I am telling my farmers, I tell them that they should not expect cash instantly. And some farmers, group members have failed to supply, because for them they want quick cash. But what I have seen with this system, like you have supplied 1 time, 2 times, and they have not paid you, and they pay you your money at a go, you can go and do something else. Other than selling a bunch at 4,000, 3,000, you get the money in the evening, you drink it. It does not make sense.
Imagine an average of 7 medium-sized banana fingers make up a kilogram, the cost of which is 300 to 500 Ugandan shillings per kilogram at the processing plant. If an average-sized bunch has about 30 kilograms, that would give you about 6 to 10 million shillings from a well-grown acre of banana plantation in one season. Now, that is Seeds of Gold. Matoke, also known as ibitoche, is the local name for the indigenously grown banana plant. Widely grown as a delicacy, bananas are major staple foods in the global tropical zone and an important cash crop. Producing 8 million tons per year, the large green cooking banana is the biggest contributor to the food crop growing activities in Uganda. With about 1,000 tons exported per year, Uganda is one of the biggest suppliers of bananas to the European markets. This, however, comes with lots of challenges, from shipping, access to cold chain processes, the crop's short shelf life, and currently the bumper harvest. Luckily, every part of the banana plant has proven to be useful. The banana flour can be cooked as a vegetable, the peels decomposed into manure, banana stems make very fine yarn, and the fruit itself can now be dried and processed into flour, bread, biscuits and wine. Tonight on Seeds of Gold, adding value to bananas to offset COVID-19 impacts while maximizing profits. Coming up.
The experience was good because at farm gate I would sell my bunch at 7,000, but when I took to PIBID, one bunch went to 11,000. Yeah, because for them they buy in terms of kilograms.
Banana prices have significantly dropped from an average of 15,000 Ugandan shillings per bunch to as low as 2,000 Ugandan shillings across markets. Although the price drops are always expected during the peak harvest season, running from June to August, the drop this year is unprecedented, mainly due to the limitations in export and the favorable climate conditions from last year. Many farmers now are struggling with their produce after the prices hit the lowest mark. In the same regard, some see the opportunities herein. To start this journey, we took a stroll down to the biggest matoke producing region. This is where we found Byendeza Saverinas, a resident of Mitoma district, running a 20-acre banana plantation. Listen to his story.
My starting originated from my father. My father liked growing bananas, so I inherited the love for bananas from him. I sell from the gate, from the farm, when I have people who want, even these ones from the community, they come and buy. I also sell to traders who take to Kampala, who take to Southern Sudan. But of recent, I think it was in Feb, beginning with Feb, I have been selling my matoke to PIBID. And these other small ones who come and buy from the field. At first I would get around 150 bunches. Yeah. Before, I think that one was before I practiced the best practices. Yes, but now I am able to get 180. Between 180 and 200. On average, I used to get around 0.5 every month when I'm selling to the local market. We would sell bananas to those who are making parties, those who have the funerals, the hotel people would come here and buy. People would come and buy, take matoke to Kasese, Rwanda. But with the coming in of COVID, all that one has stopped. Before I would sell a bunch of banana at 10,000 and above. But now at this time, a bunch costs 3,000, 2,000. Yeah.
Because of these effects, Byandeza found it inevitable to find alternative ways of doing business. For starters, how to preserve the quick-ripening bananas, process wine out of it, and perhaps be able to milk a little bit more money from the bananas as opposed to what the market was offering for each batch.
So when I started this project, when I started growing a lot of bananas, I got contacts. There is a man who comes from Kitagata Town Council who worked there as in a laboratory. I asked him to give me the contacts of the people there. So he gave me the contact. I contacted them. They told me the procedures. One of the procedures is that you must be having a cooperative society in order to sell your matoke to PIBID. So I liaised with the cooperative, the commercial officer of Shema. He came here and visited us. He directed us on how to form a cooperative society. I mobilized the members from around. Some are from Metoma, Mutara Sub-County, others are from Kasana, and then those from Kitagata Town Council. So we formed a cooperative society. The commercial officer assisted us in registering it. Once we got our certificate, then the PIBID people allowed us to start selling our matoke to them. Yeah, the first time I supplied, that was in February, they wanted 7 tons. I had taken there about 4 times, and they paid me all that money at once.
Matoke are a highly perishable fruit, and with the current state of high supply than demand, running a banana project seems risky unless if you are following Byandeza's footsteps to add value to the bananas. A government-funded project in his area is supporting this process. The Presidential Initiative for Banana Industrial Development, PIBID, is developing matoke into a gluten-free flour, further processing it into bread, biscuits and cookies, all of which are sold locally as well as exported globally. Dr. Florence Muranga, the pilot plant director, takes us through what is required to make this money.
Value chain starts with a cooperative. The cooperative do the harvesting, and they have to follow a certain value-added harvesting. They don't cut the banana at the top, at the bottom. They cut it at the top and carry it at a center where they handle it. Because here now we get fingers, we don't get bunches. So they manage all that. Then they do the first washing is done with them, and then they crate in these crates and put them on the trucks. So we receive the bananas. We've got to do a small quality assurance to ensure that what is in the crates is actually bananas, not potatoes, not anything else. So after that, the crates are brought in here, and we have here normally stools for the peelers if we are peeling. We do the steaming. So if we are doing the steaming from the crates, we put in the steamers, and then from the steamers we take them to the slicing room. But if we are peeling, as you see, we put them in the peeling machine, or we have also the peelers supporting the process, and then we convey the whole product to the slicing. This section, which we call the primary processing unit, reducing them to small units and drying them. In this particular unit, through the R&D that we've performed and collaboration with our stakeholders in Europe, we've been able to power the drying process to give us at least a ton per day, a ton per shift. So that means that in the 2 shifts, for the capacity we have here, we get 2 tons of dried stuff. And we are still counting. We are doing R&D. We believe that we'll be able to raise that even to higher level. I would say we do what I would call comprehensive value addition, because when we talk about value addition, we normally talk about the primary value addition, the secondary value addition, and the tertiary. The primary is where you are actually just adding, you don't change the form of the product. You know, if it's matoke, by the end, it's just dried matoke, but still matoke. You get it? So this is the primary value addition, is the first unit here. Now when I've got the dried matoke, it will not be much use if I don't reduce into flour. So in the secondary part, we reduce the dried matoke into flour. Going forward, we're actually going to fortify the flour, some of the flour, especially the instant flour. We're going to mix it with nutrients and with other products to make it according to what the market requires. So that is all done in the secondary value addition. Now beyond that, you may want to do innovative products, put in like maybe only 2% or up to 100% of the banana flour. Now we have the tertiary value addition unit, whereas I told you already we have the biscuit line and we have the extrusion process, which we are hoping to grow, but also we hope to put in a line for finishing the baked bread. You get it? So this shows you really the diversity. Of course, going forward, each of the secondary processes is going to be amplified so that we have a whole warehouse just doing biscuits. You get it? Or we have a whole warehouse doing extrusion and accessory products.
Coming up, how to exactly mint money from processing bananas.